Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for September 14th through the 20th, 2020. So before we begin, I'd just like to make a few announcements. For all of you who may be new to my channel, I welcome you, and just remind you to subscribe if you haven't, and when you subscribe, to also click on the all notification bell so that you are getting all of the content as it unfolds on the channel, so you're always aware of it. And also remember to like the videos if you feel inclined and inspired to do so, as that helps the channel to connect with others. We have these algorithms now, and so we have to be aware of those things. But if you feel called to and inspired to do so, and thank you all for sharing the videos as well. So I noticed we've had like an increase of subscribers, and just wanted to welcome you and also remind you of these things. For the month of September, I have been offering my angel reading for half hour, the $77 half hour reading for 1 full hour. So that is still on for the month, and we've been doing this through the pandemic. So some people, feel that this is something that they need, and they have chosen that option, and it's available to you if that is something that you need. So that way everyone can get the help that they feel that they need at this time. Also, what you would do is go to my webpage, theangelschool.com, on the services page, and there's no special button for this. You would just click on the $77 half hour reading, and within 24 hours on business days, not the weekend, I will send you a confirmation email noting the special offer. And please be aware that my office hours, just for those of us who are you who are in different time zones, my office hours are 12 noon to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I've had people from different places, and it kind of works out. So just be aware of that. And but really, if this is what you feel called to do and led to do, then trust that first, and then everything else works itself out. The other information is that, just want to make you aware, if you haven't seen it, that the Angel Scope, the monthly Angel Scope readings for each zodiac sign has been posted. And so check that out on my channel here on YouTube. Also, I do the daily card messages from Monday through Friday. They're posted the day ahead, so you can find that link to my Facebook page, or you can go to the community post here on my YouTube channel. Also, this week I kind of posted something because one of our subscribers, mentioned the number of swords that we've had recently. So I won't go into that right now, but I posted a response on my Facebook page and here on YouTube. And if you didn't see that, see can you find it? I posted it, I think, on Thursday or Wednesday, somewhere around there. And give your comments about what you think about those swords, the number of swords that we had. I put mine there, and see what you think and sort of add to that conversation. So I think that's it for right now. I know that some people have been writing their comments and things about fear and how to work with that. So during the different readings that has come up, and I think I've kind of answered that. But if there's something that you feel like you would like for me to talk about, leave it in the comments, and maybe that will be the subject of another chat, or I'll just do a special video on it. Okay, what I mean by that is a live chat. All right, so let's relax. Take deep breaths together. And I'm just seeing the word rest. So I know that some of us are, this is sort of like our work, restarting of the work season for many people, and that feeling of needing to get. But they're writing the word rest, and I even saw as I was beginning the video, sort of a bed, and I guess there is, they're saying rest, and most often we think of sleeping, but it's also about the quality of our time. That when we are relaxing, we can sort of get it. That's an opportunity to rest, or for the body, they're saying to rest, as well as when you're sleeping, it's a time for the body to rest, restore, rejuvenate. So, pay attention to how much quality of rest that the body is getting, and being aware that there's just a lot of energies that many of you are tuning into through your devices, through all of the different media. You are literally just, these devices are this internet is creating this, filling in the gaps of our ego's idea of separation, and really connecting us as close to the platform or the idea of oneness as possible, as it is possible in the human experience. With that comes now more responsibility. And it's sort of like before we had the internet, our sort of awareness and then our sense of responsibility was far less. Now that we have all of this information that connects us continuously to everything that's going on in the world in such detail. And so that's sort of a double-edged sword, because now we have more awareness, which means there is more attention and more responsibility, as well as more people to engage and offer support and assistance and help. But at the same time, energetically, physically, there's but so much you can do. Energetically, there's a lot that your soul engages and tries to offer. So many of you, your ability to rest, whether this is to sleep or to just be awake and relaxing, but your ability to rest is greatly impeded because you are now wired in energetically. And when you're wired in, when you tune in energetically to all of this, you are you're not holding the space, but you are really, channeling all of the different frequencies of frustration, anxiety, and this is causing you to kind of feel like, so first of all, it's making you very sensitive, more sensitive than you probably realize. And that ability to be able to rest, to say that maybe someone would have been able to do 50 years ago, is not quite the quality of rest that we are able to have now. And so we can't ignore, but we do have to be mindful of what's going on, so that you don't take this personally. So, it's just sort of word impossible, because it's sort of like it's impossible for you within your human experience to really have that many sort of connections to that much frequency of challenges going on in the world. And so what I'm kind of getting at, or what they're kind of getting at, is that you will often feel like you're carrying a bigger part of the world a larger portions of the world, or larger portions of the world on your own shoulders. And so your body is unable to rest. Your mind is unable to rest. And so you're going to have to, but when you take it personally, that is to say, when you let it get inside of you and disrupt you. Now, the thing is that when that disrupts you, it disrupts your own ability to be connecting with your divine wisdom and your higher self to assist you in fulfilling your own purpose and your goals where you are. Because where you are sort of a satellite for awareness and enlightenment, and you're not able to fulfill the role of where you are as fully, as productively, or as I guess as satisfied as is possible for you to do. And so you might often feel quite defeated by even the attempts you make in your own life, because you feel this sort of ominous, like you're pushing against, something more than what you are able to do. So this opposition, you're pushing against this opposition. In your consciousness, you have this, the word they're writing, opposition, that you have this constant feeling of overwhelming opposition. And it clouds your ability to see or to focus on what is possible for you to accomplish and how you can contribute, and that the contributions that you make are significant, because they have an impact effect, that one person at a time, or that small group at a time, and you multiply that with their interactions, and they multiply that with their interactions, so on and so on, you do have the ability to really affect change. But you can't focus it on all of it. You have to focus in where you are called. And if you do that, you'll be able to truly rest. That I know you want to answer everything that's going on, and you have to be able to rest within your body and rest within your mind in order to hear where the universe will point you to make a contribution that's going to be truly valuable. Don't underestimate, our little hammers and our ability to maybe just chip away at something. Will create a crack that when others inspired and they chip away at it, that we break through that wall. So we can't do it alone within ourselves, but we can do it collectively. But we have to be focused, and we have to be able to have the energy and to have a certain quality of life and perspective to be able to channel our own inspiration. It's very, very important. When you can't tap into that inspiration, you can't tap into that true way to be accountable and responsible for your part of the world that you are like guardian. You are a guardian of. So this is very interesting about being aware of how much of the media how much of that is affecting you, because you may not realize that you take all of this personally, meaning you're just taking it all into yourself like a sponge, and the complex emotions that you're feeling, and sometimes even physical triggers like pain and symptoms are about this overload. And that you're feeling all of these things. And so you may find it very difficult to like focus or concentrate. And you may think that, you may feel within yourself like some days that you just don't want to engage at all. I mean, that's an extreme, but it's probably happening a lot more than what we think. That we are feeling like we just don't want to, engage at all. And I'm talking about on a level like where we kind of become hermits, or we, get really depressed and just fearful, and a lot of self-judgment and criticism that we can't immobilize ourselves to take care of our lives, the responsibilities and obligations that are in our lives, the things that we're passionate about. It kind of can lose that luster for life. So you really want to be aware of the effects of of what this can create in your life without you really understanding what it is, and you're just saying, and you're trying to deal with it all as though it's yours, your life, and your outlook, and a lot of it, a lot of what you're feeling, what I'm basically trying to say, because I've been talking to a lot of people, and I experienced it myself, and that's why it's very important to, the first thing when you get up, when you open your eyes, is to really meditate and really appreciate, find something that you love, that inspires you. If you can't meditate, then do something that relaxes you, that breaks that whole cycle of responsibility, that takes your mind off of it, whether it's drawing or listening to music or watching a funny TV program. I find myself watching Golden Girls because it breaks it, and then when I'm done, it's like none of that stuff is kind of there, or if after meditating. But the meditating I highly recommend as priority number one, because that's you setting a tone every day to have the most profound, clear vibration, grounded and centered and focused with the intention of what you've chosen as your inspired goals for each day. And in each moment, before you even enter a particular situation, you should set the tone or set an intention which will set the tone for your interaction, will be like a guide for your interaction within this piece, this event. And if it goes away from that, then you may have sort of I can't think of the word, safe proof, like where you say, okay, when that happens, I excuse myself, or if this happens, I exempt myself from further engagement and just let them go. Let the rest of the people who want to, this is what they're choosing, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, let them have at it, right? That kind of idea. So it's very important to do this so that you don't walk through the day and just all of a sudden become drawn into things that don't align with your intention for the day. And see, once you set an intention, you'll notice that what things do and do not align with that. And it's easier for you to see your choices. It's easier for you to see the path or the avenue that you want to go along. And you don't have to go along with everything. And that's what's important. There's more I could say about this whole chaos, and I don't know if I can do this, but see if I can do this in this short amount of time. But the idea is, you may have heard me say, because I read it somewhere, where it said, when a polar bear sneezes, a grain of sand moves somewhere, okay, maybe in a desert somewhere. Okay, that's showing us that the entire universe, all of our actions have meaning, and that all of our actions, there's a reaction for our actions, meaning we're witnessing the balance, the universe maintains of the polarities. So the universe is perfect because of this and because of how the laws work within it. And when we sneeze and something, we can sense that effect, we have the opportunity, if it's imbalanced, to make it balanced again. But oftentimes, because we're not being clear and we're not being honest with ourselves about what and not being aware of this beautiful interaction, that we allow things to accumulate and go off into one direction. And then we start to have certain life experiences. And we want to place blame elsewhere instead of taking ownership that we need it to be when we recognize that when something feels off, because we do through our emotional guidance system, that we should be working to reset our intention so that we no longer participate or feed that imbalance in our lives. So although our world is full of chaos to us from our human experience, that all of that imbalance is projected from our ego. But in relationship to the bigger picture, it's still all imbalance. So some of the things that we're going through, each one of us, we can talk about sides, but each one of us collectively has played a role in what we see. It's not something that the universe has done because they gave us free will. So it's really our responsibility. But you have to think about, like, when there's the bigger things out there in the world that's going on, think of that sort of like macrocosm, but then look at your microcosm of the world within your reality. How do you contribute to that? So when you see violence being sort of on the bigger scale, where do you, let's say, I'm trying to find the right word, but it's, when you commit sort of an act of violence against yourself, like when you just tear yourself apart, that's violent to your higher being, because you are completely resisting and opposing yourself. You're tearing yourself down when your higher self is holding the space where it is always building you up and lifting you up. And you might not see how that seed relates to that, but and this keeps going. And when we evaluate our own microcosm in this way, then we can understand how we're all collectively contributing to what happens in the macrocosm of our world. And so it's up to us to restore that balance within ourselves, which is why it's important for you to be able to rest, for you to always maintain a certain quality of life, be able to rest in the mind, rest in your body, because this is contributing to the kinds of things that you might be easily drawn into, the drama that you could be, because when you don't have that awareness and that sort of quality of rest within your being, then you can easily become triggered to be irritable, frustrated, or to have outburst. Do you see? So first we take care of ourselves. That's the first way to create the changes, or to be able to have some kind of effective influence on the stuff going on out there. Get right with yourself first. Be true to yourself. Be honest with yourself. I don't want to say this, and I don't mean this judgmentally, but check yourself first. Because if you don't, whatever it is that you're doing is coming out of that energy, not the energy that you would intend. And that's why sometimes when we think we're trying to do the right thing, it ends up not being so, because we're not in check with ourselves, that which to say, what is that place of harmony and alignment and balance that we're coming from, that quality that we don't have when we're engaging or doing the things that we're attempting to do in our lives and in the world every day. All right? Okay, so let's take a look at the Archangel message for this week. And it's the Archangel Ariel, and the card is courage. Okay? And Archangel Ariel's name means the lioness of God. So, the message says, be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. I think it takes courage to be authentic, to express, to be your true self. I think it takes courage, and many of you do this work. So nobody's not saying that you don't, but it takes courage to always be aware. So, in the ways that you try to be aware in order to live a better life and a better quality of life, and to be an ambassador of good things, in the world, and good opportunities. And they want you to not give up on this. And they're not asking you to give up on this and to give up on the world and trying to make it a better place. But they're saying that when you can really be yourself, when you can really be true to yourself. So, it's one thing to go out and call other people out, but we have to be true to ourselves first. We have to be able to call ourselves out so that level of integrity elevates within us. And the higher the frequency of your own integrity, the more power and influence you have that isn't the kind that's not a power like of domination, but it's a power of holding light, holding the space for love. That's true power. And it has the ability to create such a quality of life for you that it will make others curious, even the people you think that are your enemies. They will become curious about this perception of light that you hold, even if they don't know what that is. But they will feel your quality and feel a comfort in it. And they will become curious about what it is that you know and that you do. Because right now, a lot of people are searching for many answers. Many, many answers. Because what they thought was real and true no longer resonates with them any longer. And they might be standing on the same side and, from your perspective, creating all the same ruckus, but don't underestimate that we all have something in common, that we all want peace, that we all want to feel good, that we all really, truly want what's best for each other. But we just have different ideas about what that is. And we can't fight with people on that level. Like, you don't want them to fight with you on that level. But where you can join together is in giving one another the best possible life, the best quality of life that you can. And it's probably in that conversation where the change in understandings and beliefs might begin to unravel and evolve and rebalance, reset, etc., if you get where they're going with this. All right, so let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. So have courage to be yourself in this time, because that's where you're going to discover where you're most effective in bringing about change. You can't keep doing things the same way and expect different results. Somebody's got to believe and trust that in being themselves, that is where that will all begin. So we have the King of Wands, and it's very interesting because the King of Wands is this sort of seen as this spiritual influence, a spiritual leader, this person who motivates, who's able to draw the capture the attention of many people, and it speaks to their higher wisdom, speaks to their spirit, speaks to that commonality in all of us. And that this is so perfect, this card to come up at the beginning of the week, because we need to really go to that level where all of our passions are aligned. Like we said before, every human being wants peace. Every human being wants a good quality of life. And when you start talking on that level, and just being yourself and letting go of all of your agendas and being right and wrong, but talk on that level, you start to reach people. You start to reach yourself when you start worrying about all the stuff that you used to have, and you want to maintain. You can't live without this. And when you just get down to what is it, the bare essence of what your soul desires, it wants peace. It would love for you to be able to rest. It would love for you to feel supported, right? And to have security, to feel safe. And if you start with these bare goals, dreams, desires of your soul, you'll start to get to the heart of who you are. And you'll begin to have that mastery over your own spirit, because you're no longer resistant and fighting it. And sort of, I could almost say maybe the reversal of this king would be to just be flamboyant, to be, everything opposite of spirit, right? To be more materialistic, to be very ego driven and narcissistic, right? So think about that. Because we look at extreme cases of narcissism, but we all have it because we all have an ego. And that's what taking it personally means, that we're always trying to protect our point of view. And that means at that moment that we're so caught up in the picky specifics, the picky specifics of our own agenda, our way. We're so separate and isolated in that kind of thinking that we can't hear anyone else's point of view. We can't hear or perceive that the commonalities of the spirit that is universal. All right, let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. All right, and we have the Star card. And this card, I'm just going to be always honest. I mean, yeah, it represents hope. It represents this sort of this hope that comes after the storm, after everything, the tower moment that comes before it, and everything crashes and falls, and now all of your worst nightmares, of what you thought was going to be the worst, it's happened, that moment of reckoning. And then it's sort of that sense that you actually realize that you were so scared of losing everything that you're now actually free. You're free. And when you're free, you have hope, because you have this sense that you can move anywhere from here. There's nowhere else to go further down. There's only up. And that you might have this breakthrough of conviction that you've done it all those ways before. You tried to please everyone, but now it's about you, and you can see how the error in that, what you did before. And now you're resolved to just be absolutely on your own terms, living life on your own terms. And you're not caught up by all the materialistic things, what the tower represented. Thinking of like New York City, all these the sky rises and everybody, status, and all this, what this means to them. And when all that comes crumbling down and you've realized that you've been a slave to that, and now you're free to be with that, the core essence of you. So it's almost like the star, the light, the divine spark is released, or it's the only thing that's left. When our physicalness breaks down, right? When all of our material aspects of our life and all of the associations and blah, 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 when all that breaks down, what's been there through the whole thing and what's there in the end is that star, your inner being, your divine spark from the source, from God, the creator. It's there. And so the voice of this is now more prominent, and it's speaking to you and guiding you without all of that stuff, extraneous responsibilities, etc., just holding you back. And it had to break because you cannot live against who you truly are. You can't live without integrity for long. That's why tower moments happen, because we're going against the grain, and that can only last for so long because it's not real, it's not possible. You can't escape who you are. You will face it. And so sooner or later, and this is what might represent all of these things, like what's happening globally with the pandemic. We were all lying to ourselves and living a huge lie and getting away with it. And I'm not just talking about the specifics of that, but I'm talking about on the collective level of all of that. And so we had to come to this point where now we are brought to this place to be, I want to say brought to our knees, but to honor our own inner star. And it has so many resources to pour out to us. So much love and so much experience and gifts and potential to pour out to us now. So this is a time for really unleashing potential from that higher cosmic support within us. Okay, so now we have the end of the week, the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is sort of saying, it's going to take work, and it's like, it's going to take time for us to rebuild. So if you're feeling this need to get that quick fix again, that was one of the symptoms of the ego. Fast food, fast this. We have this the technology that connects us. We email, but the thing was, we weren't supposed to do more because of the technology. It was supposed to give us more time to be human, to smell the roses, to rest, to relax. But instead, because we now can get things done in a few seconds and communicate and get documents back and forth in a few seconds, we now took up more of our time, which means we're working these huge hours of the day. And it should have given you more time to spend with your families and to focus on some things that you love and to be able to make the world a better place and to contribute but it didn't. And because we had this backlog of things that we needed to get done personally and collectively, it's all hit us in where we had no choice but for the world to completely pause and stop. It's like the pandemic is like a disruption to our ego, because the ego is what is going through the healing process to be reintegrated into oneness. That's how our ascension path is going to unfold. So this card is telling it's going to take us time to rebuild our lives. And the way that you can do that is have the courage to be true to thyself, and so that you can and pay attention, so you can be in a place of rest, a state of rest where you're more open and aware and more mindful about the choices that you incorporate into your life. No more fast food lifestyle. Don't try to get ahead quickly. Don't try to get back into that scheme, because it's not going to serve you well. It's going to have a lot of I can't think of today of any words, but you get where I'm going with it. There are going to be a lot of consequences behind it. It's going to be a harder experience, because you're trying to use old software without the updates, and it's just going to keep crashing. Okay? So we have to move up, and we have to go with the optimized software. And it's like your hardware and software. They both have to be optimized. One is already optimized, and you need to update. You need to update, and so that you're not having those crashes. Okay, so let's take a look at the card that I've already pulled from the bottom of the deck, and it's the Eight of Pentacles. So, this is a card about sort of the practice, refining your work, mastering that work, and paying attention to the details that matter. So they're writing out the word compassion here. First, they want you to be compassionate towards yourself. So I know this discussion has been a little hard, maybe, but hopefully you've been feeling the love, and you need to continue to offer this kind of compassion to yourself as you work through this. Don't judge yourself. Don't make a big deal. Don't look back and go, "Oh yeah, I did this." No, that's not it. Because there's nobody that's guiltless here. But the thing is that doesn't matter. What matters is what we can do now that we are aware. And again, this is about first starting with yourself and just, chipping away at those things that do not serve you. And so, again, this is a process. The Star card looks at a bright future, but and it sort of, gives us that sense that we have a bright future ahead, but we have to chip away at it, do the work, which is just to be aware, do whatever can help you to get that sense of rest, to not just put yourself in everything without first getting things right with you at home and in your own microcosm. So that be aware of that microcosm and how you're living, the quality of your life is affecting the macrocosm. You just even focusing on trying to get your life to be more harmonious and peaceful and balanced, and to live your life to the full, to be happy, to not be compulsive, and these things can contribute greatly to the world. It'll contribute to the planet, because you're not buying stuff and wasting and having all these materials that are being used that are unnecessary. I mean, that's just one example. Just think about it. It would be amazing if every one of us wasn't contributing to the chaos of our political climate, but that we were contributing through peaceful means. And I'm just talking about just being peaceful, being this channel of peace within yourself, so that you were able to receive the insights of love, that you, when you speak, you would draw people together than create divisiveness. Because we all are collectively responsible and we have to share that in order to really be able to get together and heal. All of our parts are a little, we've maybe different parts of it, but it all contributes, okay? All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings. Have courage, okay? In being yourself, being true to yourself. And in this week, it just really feels like you are going to have some really strong epiphanies, that you are ready to embrace these changes, and that you might withdraw yourself from some of the drama and really focus in on your own quality of life. All right, so I'm going to let this go, and I'm going to send you lots of love. Namaste, and God bless you.